I'm back, and full transparency, I can't set up the room proportions so that my head can make it into the video for standing portions. So most of what we're going to do here is on the mat, kneeling, sitting, laying, and I encourage everyone to look at my last video for some squats and lunges. You won't see my face, but who really cares anyway. Today is probably going to be like a 20-ish minute pre-postnatal safe Pilates mat work, and I hope you guys will join me and feel good. So I'm going to start. I've got my same props, my pillows, my wine bottle weights, and today I'm going to start by laying down on my back. Again, I like to use some pillows for support under my pelvis. And just make my way down to the floor and focus with some deep breathing, especially right now while things are a little bit tense. Just taking some time to breathe helps to slow down whatever is going on in your mind. So inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the mouth. And starting to connect this with my transverse abdominals and my pelvic floor. So I'm going to inhale through the nose, and when I exhale, I'm going to contract my navel back towards my spine, knit my front ribs together, and try to lift my pelvic floor, connecting all of these deep muscles together. Nice big breath in. Exhale. I recommend you guys continue to do this for a few moments and holding that contraction for about 10 seconds, trying to breathe consistently as you do so, and really feeling that pelvic floor lift and deep core connect. I'm going to keep it moving. You guys don't need to see me breathe for that long, but I promise you I'm doing it at home. Moving on to some pelvic tucks here, setting my feet down onto the mat about sitting bone distance apart. Hands right on my belly or on my pelvis. I'm going to tuck my pelvis, pubic bone tilts back, kind of flattens down, and then come on back to my neutral. Exhale, tuck, and then coming on back. A few more just like this. And then starting to eventually lift up to my bridge. So today I'm going to hinge up, as I mentioned. For me, that's more comfortable. You can always tuck and articulate up, pressing into the heels of my feet, contracting my deep core, and lifting my hips up to my bridge, and then lowering back down for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. For the second half, arms up, less support. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep it lifted. Now I'm checking in to make sure my abs are still engaged, pressing equally through the heels of my feet, both down and kind of out, getting my side glutes to fire, and then little pulses up an inch, down an inch for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Holding and breathing for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and come on down, taking a few pelvic tucks, hugging the knees in, massaging out my low back a little bit. From there, I'm going to come up to another bridge, drive into the heels, exhale, lift up. And now I'm going to be focusing on my pelvis. So I'm going to drop my left hip down an inch or so, not too big, come back up and switch to my right. Alternating sides here. And notice that my shoulders, my knees, nothing else is really moving that much. I'm just doing this small rotation through the pelvis. And what that's doing is getting me to activate my glutes a little bit more. I feel my glute release as I dip it down. Then I have to engage it to lift it back up and square off my hips. At the same time, my opposite hip or my opposite glute is really firing to support me. For 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Then come on back down. Now I like to take a few pelvic tucks to recover. I love to do that before this next thing because I felt what it was like to tilt my pelvis and engage my glutes. Now, I'm going to use that glute engagement to stabilize my hips into this next sequence. So lifting the hips back up, Really, really make sure that they don't start to move too much here. I'm gonna take my left leg, step it up, then set it back down, and then the right. And continue with these marches, very slow. They don't need to be fast. They don't even need to be big. You could just do a little step off. And you want to focus on the hips staying pretty still and square here. So you get that connection of the glutes firing to stabilize and that deep core connecting to help support and stabilize as well. Let's go for 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Set the foot down, come on down. Now I'd say if you had a hard time stabilizing the pelvis in that last one, put your hands on your hips to support you. If you still feel kind of wobbly or any SIJ pain, skip this next one. Just fast forward to what I'm gonna do next. Last sequence here, building from there, I'm gonna press down, pull in to lift up. My weight is going to transfer into my right heel. Feel my right glute really fire. My left leg lifts up, and I'm gonna pulse my hips up 1 inch, down 1 inch for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Step the foot down, come on out. Now my right glute is pretty fired here. I'm gonna continue to work on that right side. So removing the pillow, and then just rolling right over. Today I'll be demonstrating side lying with my head in my hand. Know that you can also come up. I was like this in my last video. You can lay like this. You could even use a pillow behind your head. Scooch my other pillows out of the way. Oop, there's my weight. I'm gonna start with my knees bent today. Just lifting and lowering about hip distance high. Continuing to focus on my pelvic stability, hips stacked one on top of the other. And then continuing to draw in from my core, connecting to that moment of deep breath, navel back, ribs closed. Let's go for 4 more, for 3, for 2, 1. Keep my leg lifted, little pulses up 1 inch, down 1 inch for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten my leg, kick it out. I'm gonna bend my knee forward and then kick the leg back out. This is very similar to a squat motion. I'm bending my knees. My hips would be hinging if I weren't laying on my side. And I'm keeping my hips nice and stacked and square, one on top of the other. Good for 4, 3, 2, last 1. Keeping my leg nice and straight, pointing my toes, finishing off with some circles. 8-ish to the front. 4, 3, 2, 1, 8-ish to the back. For 4, 3, 2, and 1. Set my leg down, give my butt a nice little tap for a moment. From there, carefully propping myself up, I'm going to grab this weight. And let's see how my wine bottle weights can work behind my knee. So this can always be done without the weight, which I demonstrated in my last video, but today I'm going to put that weight behind my leg just for a little bit more, and I'm going to come on down to my forearms, giving my wrists a break and just engaging the upper body in a slightly different way. Lift my right knee up, lower it down. Again, keeping my hips nice and still. My lumbar spine is not lifting. I'm lifting right from the glute and the hamstring. And continuing to contract the deep core, navel up, ribs closed, pelvic floor lifting. For 4, 3, 2, keep that leg up, little pulses up 1 inch, down 1 inch for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, keeping it up. I'm going to turn my leg out a little bit, then come back in. This wine bottle is actually doing big things for my hamstrings because usually weights have a little bit of grip to them, but the wine bottle is pretty slick, so I really have to squeeze my hamstrings, thinking about my heel to my glute to keep this wine bottle steady. For 3, 2, 1, open it out, little pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm setting that leg down just in time to lose the weight. From here, I'm going to grab my other weight and come to a kneeling lunge position. You could always set a pillow down right underneath your bottom knee so that you don't feel like you're putting pressure
on the knee. From here, same thing that I talked about in my standing lunges. I'm gonna put my weight in my heel to help activate my hamstring and glute, keep my hips nice and square and level with one another. And now I'm just gonna take a few bicep curls. Hopefully my posture is looking tall. You want the shoulders to be broad and down, navel back, crown lifted. Even us instructors really could use some form feedback. I miss my instructors who kept me in good form. Good, now from here I'm tucking my back toes. I'm gonna lift up to a little hover here and just take little pulses down an inch, up an inch. Hopefully you can still see my head. Whew. For 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna transfer my weight forward, straighten my back leg, straighten my arms back behind me and take little pulses back. Probably my head needed to lift. I noticed that in my last video. For 4, 3, 2, 1. Bending and straighten the elbows. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1. Slowly lower down. I step my weights down and then just get a little bit more support and take a second to stretch out my right side for a minute. Again, figure 4 stretch, rocking from side to side. The goal in the stretch is to get the knee to open so that the hip can release. Whew, a few more breaths here. Then we get to do it all over again on the second side. Get my weights out of the way, and then make my way back down for my bridge. Now after using one side, I like to come back to basics for a second, just so I can refocus the connection to my core and my breath. Navel back, ribs closed. Exhale to lift up and lower back down. I'm just gonna do about 8 of these total. And I can feel how my right side has worked way more than my left. Looking forward to evening that out. 4, 3, 2. I'm gonna stay there just as a reminder, kind of twisting my hips from side to side. Again, feeling the glutes engage and disengage, transferring the weight. And what it's like to tilt my pelvis, mostly so I have that feedback for when I get into the sequences where I don't want to do that. I don't know if you can see baby, she's like super lumpy moving around right now. She loves this. For 4, 3, 2, and 1, and then come on down. A few pelvic tucks here. And now I'm ready to go. Again, press down to lift up, connect my core. I'm shifting my weight into my left side, which is my weaker side. You might be able to notice that. And I'm gonna lift my right leg up and just take little pulses. It's much more challenging for me to stabilize on this side, so my hands are on my hips to offer me a little bit of support. For 4, for 3, for 2, and 1, done. Come on down. Now, I just have to swing my legs off to the other side, making sure I don't use my right leg again. And come on down. Setting up my hips. Left leg stays bent. Lift and lower about hip distance high. Good. Let's see if my pregnancy brain keeps me honest and I remember to do all of the different variations. My clients in studio, I need you here to keep me honest when I skip something. Keeping the leg up, little pulses for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, then kick it out, table, kick, table. Now our bodies usually want to compensate when we do movements like this, but my back does not change, my hips do not change. If you try to bring your knee in too far like this is an exaggeration, but you're gonna notice your shoulders and your hips compensating. So just keep it a pretty small range of motion. For 4, 3, 2, last one. Keep the legs straight, point the toes, little circles. 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Reverse the direction of those circles. Good. 4, 3, 2, 1. Set the leg down. Give your butt a little tap. This side is so much harder for me. Propping myself up. Getting my weights ready. I'm almost regretting using this weight behind my leg. It's really hard to keep still, but it gets my hamstring really working. Again, hands and knees, or elbows and knees for me today. Squeezing the weight, lift the leg up and down. And this range of motion I can already feel has to be a little bit smaller so that I don't start to compensate in off ways, and that's totally fine. For 4, 3, 2. Keep the leg lifted, little pulses up an inch, down an inch for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Trying to hold on to that weight for dear life. Ooh, I'm about to lose it. There we go. Whew. Nothing like wine bottle weights to really show you where your imbalances are in your body. 3, 2, keep it at little pulses. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Wow. Honestly, even if you have weights, I'm gonna recommend you try it with wine bottles. I've never gotten such good connection to my hamstring in that sequence as having this guy right here. All right, left foot steps it forward, weight into my heel. This time I'm gonna do a slightly different arm variation. On the reformer, this would be called hug a tree. And I'm working on stabilizing my postural muscles. So those are the muscles that kind of line my spine and support my shoulders so that I don't start to look like this. My shoulders stay down. And I'm feeling the part like right underneath my armpits and kind of behind that area that wraps around to the shoulder blades. Fire here for 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna keep my arms out, tuck my back toe. Come on up, take little pulses, down an inch, up an inch. Fighting to keep my hips as square as possible. For 4-ish, 3, 2, 1. Shifting my weight forward, I'm gonna come back to my arms like this. Make sure my hips are square. Weight still in that left heel. Take little pulses back an inch. Again, lift that head. We tend to do this with our neck, but look at how my spine kind of breaks its line. Keep it nice and straight. I'm gonna flip my arms. And then take some circles here. And let's do 4 more. For 3, 2, and 1. And come on down. Oh, take a second to stretch that out. All right, I'm gonna end with a kneeling arm sequence where I integrate some more lower body. But I'm gonna start just in my high kneel so I can focus on the upper body. First, just doing some shoulder presses. Good, now from here, I'm gonna integrate my kneeling squat, hinge my hips, take my butt back, press all the way up. Like I said in my last video, when you're doing your kneeling squats, think about if it were your feet on the ground. Kind of pressing down into the floor. Thinking about ripping your mat in half with your knees. I'm not moving my knees. I'm not changing where they're positioned. But it's about that energy, that transfer of weight that helps the right muscles engage. For 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna stay up, bring my weights close to one another, and take some very slow triceps, which I learned again, one of the benefits of using these wine bottles is that the texture of them is not the most secure to hold on to. So I have to move very, very slow and meticulously. And in Pilates, it's kind of what it's all about. We kind of get that slow, deep burn, especially if you're pregnant like me and you lose your breath easily. Moving slow is like a nice moment of relief, even though you can feel that shake in the arms. For 4, 3, 2, last one, and then I'm going to lower my arms to the side, take some little circles. 4, 3, 2, 1, reverse. Can't wait till I'll be drinking this wine rather than using it as weights. For 3, 2, and 1. Set the weights down. Finishing up with my version of push-ups. Talked you through this the last time. For me, so that I don't get any pressure in my rectus abdominis or in my outermost layer of my abs. Again, that kind of can lead to splitting of the abs. I take my push-ups in hands and knees. If you can do it in your modified position without that pressure, fantastic. For me, just holding this is kind of my max. If I were to lower my body weight, it would be too much. So my butt's gonna stay in the air, and I'm gonna start with your more traditional push-ups with the elbows going out to the side, and I'm gonna do 15 here. 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Halfway, stay there, little pulses for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Up. Take a second, relax. Shake it out a little bit. Come on back, hands and knees. This time stepping my hands a little bit closer, coming back to those tricep push-ups where you internally rotate the arms as you bend. Elbows stay narrow. Again, I'm going for 15 here. I think I've got 12 left. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, halfway for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and up. And take a little child's pose, just letting it all go. Then coming back up to hands and knees. A few cat-cow stretches, arching the back, letting the belly go. And pulling up through the spine. And then adding in any type of movement that feels good for me, really swaying my hips from side to side, circling them. Circle my head around. And then just coming up to a kneeling position, taking a few shoulder rolls. Letting my head go. Really feeling the tension that I'm carrying in my upper body. Letting that try to release a little bit, interlace the arms, push them away from me. Then lift them up, think about opening my heart, looking at the sky. Coming in back, taking a nice side bend and pushing through my hands and rooting down through my opposite knee. And then up, over to the other side. And then last but not least, taking a little bit of a heart opener and a hip opener. Now I always like to start by bringing my hands behind my back, push them back, press my hips forward. I'm squeezing my butts and engaging my abs. Oh, baby looks funny. Letting it all go from there. And then if that feels good for you, no straining in the back or the neck, then you can reach back for the heels, press the hips, open up and breathe. And then very carefully coming on out. And that's where I'm going to leave you. As always, please do not hesitate to reach out, comment if you have any questions. I can be reached via DM. on my Instagram, which is Hannah M. Pilates, same name as this. And thanks for joining me. I hope all you mamas feel good. Oh no.
Still going.
Oh good.